Hey now, hey now, hey now, what's going on everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I decided to review the second episode of the second season of DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and I did that because this show is on thin ice. For me. It's one of those things where I sat through the whole first season and I didn't really care for it. Like, if I watch this show and if I get to the point, the mid-season point where it's supposed to cross over with Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, if that crossover happens and if I still don't give a shit about this show, if I still don't like these characters and still don't like the writing and still don't care about what's going on, then I'm going to have to check out. So this show has to win me back over, or just has to keep me interested, even somewhat interested. This second episode is entitled The Justice Society of America. At the beginning, we see the Justice Society of America. It's right where the last episode ended, where they stand off with the Legends and they're questioning them, trying to figure out what's going on. And when the Legends try to tell them, but they do mention that they're time travelers, I guess the JSA didn't give a fuck, because they just, not only do they fight them, but they kick their ass. They take out the Legends, make them look like kindergartners. Like, it's almost embarrassing, but I will say that it did make the JSA look like total badasses. Nate Haywood, the doctor, the historian, he is related to Commander Steel, who is a part of the Justice Society. And I guess he's his great-great-grandson or something or another. They're talking about Rex Tyler and how he came to the group and told them not to go to 1942. They get Rex Tyler, but he doesn't remember them. He doesn't know what they're talking about. And Rex Tyler, at least this version of him, was a little bit of a dick, because every time Sarah Lance tried to say something, tried to give her 2 cents, tried to offer maybe some options, he constantly shut her down and say, I'm talking to the leader, to Professor Stein. I don't know why you would look at the group and think of Stein as the leader. I know he's the oldest one, so I guess that's it, but it's messed up that this guy, being with a group that has 2 women in the group, he looks at this other group and sees the woman and just there's no way that she could be the leader, right? There's no way that this woman could be in a high authority of, like, that made him look really bad. And nobody else really questioned him on it. Out of this Justice Society, I guess they were fine. They were fine. I guess I wasn't overwhelmingly impressed because Smallville did this. Smallville did the Justice Society of America, and I thought they were cooler then. They had just some really cool aspects of the characters, including Stargirl, who was a different version here. Even Smallville had Dr. Fate, who was like the coolest character ever, but this version didn't have it. Out of this version of the JSA, I will say that the only one that somewhat intrigued me was Obsidian. They virtually did nothing with the guy. He had a badass moment in the fight at the beginning where he turned daylight into dark. You can't see his face because he just has black and he has a hood and you can't see anything of him. And he never talks. Even with all of that, I still was more interested in him. Maybe because the writing on the show is so bad that if they had made him talk, he would have sounded stupid just like everybody else. So the fact that he didn't talk, he was the most interesting. He was the most believable. I googled this character. I looked him up and looked at some of his backstory, the stuff with his adopted parents, and how eventually he would become a gay character for the comic books. Like, all of that I found really intriguing and really interesting, but this show didn't, I guess, decide to go there. Who knows? Maybe they'll bring him back, maybe not. I guess Professor Stein, because Rex Tyler is a sexist, Professor Stein becomes the captain. Like, the team just goes along with it. They let him do it. And of course, this is why I had a problem with Professor Stein last season, is that he has moments where he gets big-headed. He has moments where he his ego gets in the way, and he does things that aren't in the best interest of the group, that are selfish, and he started to show some of that again here. And he got big-headed. Even Jefferson was seeing it. Later on, he does have a moment where he says, oh, I don't know how Rip Hunter did this. Led the group, be a leader, and make all these important decisions. I got news for you, Stein. Rip Hunter was a shitty leader. He was. Every time he gave an order, every time he made a plan for the group to do something, they always disobeyed him. They always did the opposite of what he wanted. And then you know what? The group was always right. The group always, whatever they did, ended up saving the world or doing something that his plan wouldn't have worked. So Rip Hunter wasn't a good leader. Who knows? Professor Stein might be a better leader. I guess we'll have to wait and find out. We see that Haywood, he somehow realizes that the timeline is changing. He had the dog tags of Commander Steel, and they disappeared. And he figures out that the Justice Society are going to die. So they have to go back to 1942 again to save them. Now, I know that they're now the Time Masters. I know that their sole purpose is to fix anything in the timeline that might have been changed for whatever reason. Who knows? Maybe the timeline changed because they went back and interacted with the JSA. I don't know. I don't know if they really explain why it changed and why they end up dying. And I know that Haywood, if they had let them die, then he would cease to exist. I get all of it. I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck is the difference between this group going back in time to save the JSA, but Sarah Lance can't go back to save Laurel, her own sister. Why is it this big, huge hoopla with her wanting to save her sister, but whenever anybody else wants to save their loved one, like Haywood, like Rip Hunter, or like anyone else, it's okay. Nobody bats an eye. So they go back and they have this big fight with Nazis at a bar. And it was kind of amusing to see Ray Palmer. Just he couldn't bring himself to salute Hitler. I almost don't blame him. So they have a big bar fight. And there's a moment where Vixen is talking to Ray. And I found this hilarious because she tells Ray Palmer that basically the group sucks. That the Legends suck. That they're not heroes. That they haven't been doing a good job, that they fail almost every time they go out and do something. And I howled with laughter because I agreed. I agree that these guys aren't really heroes, that anytime they might have done something like kill Savage, it's all been by accident. It's all been luck. I haven't really seen them or bought them as a cohesive unit, as a cohesive team. Speaking of that, so they have this big battle with a bunch of Nazis because they want to get this amulet. A very important amulet. We don't really know why or for what or why even the Nazis had it. But we see that one of the Nazis injects himself with something or turns into this big giant Nazi CGI Hulk. And I'm sorry. I have defended these CW shows when it comes to special effects, when it comes to any time they have to use CGI. And I have always said that they're doing the best that they can, or that it always ends up looking better than it really should. This CGI creature or monster or whatever the hell this Nazi turned into, it looked awful. It looked terrible. It looked like a PlayStation 1 video game. It was terrible. I'm sitting here watching this like, why did they do that? Why did they go for that? None of it looks real. Maybe also because it was during daylight. Maybe if they had shot it at night, maybe it would have pulled off better. I don't know. It's bad in 2016 when the 2003 Hulk movie, that CGI looked better than whatever the hell I was looking at here. But of course, they weren't ready for that. So Ray and Vixen, they get kidnapped. And yada yada, all of this stuff. So the group has to go back in there to save them. And then when they do that, the creature hulks out again. And it's funny because Haywood comes in to save Steel, and they're riding away. Somehow, some way, like whenever they shot at this CGI Hulk thing, the bullets weren't penetrating him. But then they drop missiles on him, and he blows up. I'm like, oh, okay, so bullets couldn't do anything to him, but this missile, I guess, blew him up or killed him or what. We didn't see it. I guess he just died. And it was funny because Haywood was like, wow, I saved you. And Commander Steel was like, yeah, you saved the day. All right. And then one of the missiles drops on them and they blow up. I laughed. I know I probably shouldn't have. I know I'm supposed to care about these characters, but I don't. So it was just kind of funny to see them laid out on the ground because I thought they were dead. But no, you find out that they're not dead. Steel is just okay. Haywood is like in a coma or something. Who the hell knows? Ray gets this genius idea to inject him with that Nazi formula because if he turns into a creature, who cares? I guess it's better than him being in a coma. And then you have Vixen who tells Ray she was wrong, that they're heroes, yada yada, sure, whatever you say. The very last scene though, Reverse Flash came in, killed Rex Tyler, and revealed that he killed that other version of Rex Tyler that talked to the Legends. And he went and stole the amulet. So Reverse Flash, so far, I was worried how they would use him. I was worried that they would make him very just bare bones and dumb him down and not make him the threat that he was in season 1 of The Flash. But so far, I like what I'm seeing. That was surprising. That was awesome how he just came in there. I'm actually rooting for Reverse Flash. Is that a bad thing? Speaking of Flash, season 3 of Flash right now is dealing with the fact that Barry Allen went off, messed up the timeline, and now things are different. If these Time Masters, if the Legends are, if their sole purpose is to fix time, why haven't they done anything about Flash or about what Barry Allen's done? Why haven't they even referenced it? Maybe, just maybe, that's what the crossover will be. Maybe they'll realize what's going on Flash and say, holy crap, the timeline's messed up. We have to go to there and fix it. That better be the case, because if they never address this, if Legends never addresses the difference of what Barry has done with the timeline, then this show, this writing, this continuity is even worse than I gave it credit for. So guys, did I hate the episode? No. But did I love it? Did I enjoy it? It was what it was. It's dumb, mindless action. I guess I have to take my brain, take it out of my head, leave it over there in the corner, and watch this show. And that's how you can enjoy it. But that's just me. It's cool if you guys liked it. In fact, let me know in the comments below. What did you think of this episode? Did you like it? Did you love it? Totally fine. Totally cool. Or did you hate it? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!